Welcome everyone to Clayton's Classroom. This is the Doc of Detox Show. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and I'm with my co-host, the amazing Clayton Nolte, the inventor of the structured water units. He is here live and in person to give you the truth about water, okay? The water you drink and the water you bathe in, okay? And today's show is called Prevent City Water from Poisoning You. Just before we start, I have a couple of comments. The first one I'd like to talk about is our Florida combined course. It's going to be starting on October the 22nd and going to November the 9th. If you've always wanted to be a practitioner, understand something. Don't let anything get in your way or stop you. A lot of people say, wow, you have a course that's only 21 days and you can learn how to be an emotional and a nutritional coach and learn how to do the Wolfe deep tissue and the non-surgical, where you actually can pull fibroids apart, do a facelift, a tummy lift, where you can actually clear out the pelvis, where you can actually do a breast lift and actually go in there and get rid of calcium deposits, crystallization. Absolutely. We will prove it to you. Understand something. If you've always wanted to be a natural health practitioner, let me tell you something. We need you. We need you in our Braveheart Nation, and I'll tell you why. If we were doing so good and the practitioners knew what they were doing today, then why is 80% of the population in trouble? That's at minimum. 80% of the population has autoimmune disease. 1 out of 2 people will get cancer unless they learn how to create the perfect day in every way on an emotional and physical level. And this is what we teach here at the Doc of Detox and even on all our shows. You need to understand something. We have been lied to so much, you have no doubt. You know what? I absolutely know that everything is butt backwards when it comes to the medical system, okay? So you can take it or leave it. They do really good at emergency care. Then I'm also going to say that in natural health care, if we were so good at what we were doing, then why are people walking around limping? Why are people around emotionally crippled and physically crippled? And I'm telling you that I know that my mission is to change that, and I'm going to. I'm going to show you that you can become the greatest practitioner that you'll ever find. Whether you come to our personal treatment and trainings and we come to you, or we send one of our master trainers to you, and they teach you and your family how to take back your life, how to take back your home. Okay? Because whether you want to believe it or not, corporations and government are not there for you. The system is not there for you. So you'll need to get this and get this now. What are you worth? Are you worth spending some time on, some money on, and coming to Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida? We'll be at the Crystal Bay Hotel, October the 22nd. And guess what? I'm going to be there till the 17th because I actually sold out my whole life coach course that starts on October 22nd. And then I run the Wolfe Deep Tissue for 7 days. And then I run the non-surgical course for 4 days, and I've put another whole life coach on the end, and that's 6 days. So look at, don't hesitate. You can come and get certified in nutrition, being a nutritional and emotional coach, or you can just come for that 6 days and learn everything you need to learn to bring it home, to bring love home, to bring health home. All right? And so we want to see you. We only have a few spots left. I've got 5 spots left in the deep tissue, 5 spots left in the non-surgical, and I have 8 spots left in the last whole life coach, okay? That starts on November the 9th, okay, and goes for 6 days. November the 10th, and goes for 6 days. All right, so our phone lines are open. Clayton and I will be talking for just a few minutes. The phone number is 888-570-9445. Are you ready to take your health to the highest level? All right. And I want to say something here today. People don't want to believe that this unit here, structure unit, has no moving parts, no filter, okay? Never wears out, never breaks down, and will never let you down, is the most powerful thing in the world when it comes to water. I'm not asking to be challenged, and neither is Clayton, but we're here with your challenging questions. And if you want a challenge, just go right ahead. Because we're going to prove that we can harness nature and that Clayton Nolte has done it. He has harnessed nature. And let me ask you a question. Man-made everything is killing us. You know what? As soon as I finish here today, I'm going to go outside, the sun is shining, and I'm going to sun gaze for 10 minutes. And I'm going to stay connected to my breath, and I'm going to sun gaze. Why? Because I need the sun to actually help to offset the blue rays and blue color coming off these lights and this computer. You got what I said, because this is so damaging. Man has modernized all our lighting, and that's why if you take a look, since 1980, before 1987, 1989, that's when they came out with the incandescent bulb. We didn't have all these chronic diseases. And understand something, the water you're drinking, if it's just filtered or reverse osmosis or distilled or it's bottled, it's not holding light. And understand something, what's more important than food? What's more important than supplementation? Light. And guess what? Structured water, okay, when light hits it, it turns into sound. And that sound is captivated by the magnetism of structured water, which will captivate more light than any other water. We are light energy beings, and either you're going to get this or you're not going to get this. If you want to be schooled and fooled and keep buying the other waters, okay, if you want to think that your supplements are going to save your butt when you're looking at TV screens and computers all day, and you're not going to get up in the morning and sun gaze, and you're not going to drink structured water that can hold more sunlight in and more sound waves to help to heal you, you're not going to make it. So understand something. I am going to have the most powerful shows because I have the most powerful people. And one of them is Clayton Nolte, and here he is. Good day, Clayton.
Good day, Darrell. It's wonderful hearing you. It's wonderful hearing your affirmation about how you can aid people to find their way. It's beautiful.
Well, we're going to do it together, Clayton. And you know what? A lot of people, they find that I'm a little bit over the top. Well, absolutely. If we're not over the top, we're not going to get to the top. If people want the highest level of health, then I need to be over the top, because we need to shake it up, wake it up, and grow up to our full potential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how's things going for you, Clayton? Can you bring us up to speed on what's going on with your studies? Because I know that you're always, trying to, how can I say it? Become the quantum leap when it comes to water. So can you tell me what you're up to and what you're working on?
I'd rather wait until I finish it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But really, there's always more to learn and more to bring forth.
Yeah.
My motto is what more is possible.
Yes.
And so the universe is constantly giving me what more is possible. And,
absolutely.
And so it is a matter of defining it and bringing it into the view that people can understand and grasp.
Sure.
And also create the technology that emulates that energy, that view, that elixir that will bring about a magnificent advantage to human beings, to life, to all life.
Thank you.
That's my goal.
So how many people out there know that most of the diseases that we have today are due to dysfunctional mitochondria? How many people out there know that your mitochondria actually bring the C into the cell? And the C being water, that being structured water. Now think about that. Your mitochondria actually makes the water that it bathes in, that your cells are in. And it's the mitochondria that actually create the ATP. How many people actually realize that your water you drink is really important, that we get rid of all the negative frequencies in it, because you are a frequency being? And that we start off with a clean slate, and we start off with frequencies that are going to help us all the way down to the mitochondria. How many people know that structured water with proper frequencies in it will actually turn off the cancer gene, and will actually turn on vibratory healing? down as far as the cell level. So these are things for you to think about, and maybe there's some questions that you'd like to ask maybe Clayton about this, but our topic today was, okay, how to protect yourself from tap water when you're showering in it, and when you're drinking it, and what the structure unit can do for you. Maybe Clayton, would you like to kick that off?
Sure, sure. Basically, your community, your government, let's say, has chosen a form of science called chemistry. So basically, all they do is they look at the chemistry of the water, and when the chemistry is off, what they do is they add chlorine to combat bacteria, viruses, molds, pathogens in the water. And since chlorine doesn't do it all the way, now they're adding ammonia, another poison, to the water. So they call that chloramine, and they adjust all the water, or let's say the outcomes of the water, and bring you to the belief that this is good for you. Another element that's added, another poison, is fluoride, and we could go on and on and on. The interesting thing here is, again, is that all science having to do with water that you're drinking and consuming and bathing and cooking with is chemically, let's say, chemically doctored in order to give you a clear perspective to see the water as being clear and pure. The however is, when we get down to the human cellular level, your cells receive the energy that Dr. Wolfe was talking about. You know, all the food you eat and everything you eat and everything you drink goes out your elimination system. So what feeds your cells? What feeds your cells is the energy of the food you eat and drink. And that's carried on water molecules to every cell in your body. So you know, there's a miscommunication here. Your city water, your tap water, is chemically bound and supposedly pure and healthy. And the only thing that they are looking at, government, city, is looking at, is the physical compounds in the water. They eliminate the physical and tell you the water is pure. The however is, what do your cells consume? Your cells consume energy. So water holds on to the memory of everything that was within it, everything that it passes by, everything that it passes through since it came out of nature. So the majority of water is holding on to the medications, the energy of the medications of all the people it's passed through. It's holding on the memory of all the adversarial conditions that it's passed through and been involved in. And so when you go to consume this water, it's still holding on to all those energies. Again, what feeds your cells? Energy. So what structuring does is structuring neutralizes all those toxic overloads, all those toxic energies. And the only thing that it allows your body or to be carried on the water that you're drinking and consuming is the things that are good for life. Everything else is neutralized. It's that simple.
So what you're trying to say, if I'm correct here, is that so we don't have any of the actual matter, okay? So there's no physical matter. They can clear all that out. But the frequency of every drug, every chemical, and you know what? I know that people have a hard time with this, but you'll even get the frequency of the last person who drank it, whether they were balanced in joy, bliss, or whether they were angry, upset, because water is a messenger and water is a carrier. But what people need to understand is water carries frequencies better than anything else on this planet.
Exactly.
And whether we want to believe this or not, your spinal fluid is 99.8% water. And the main thing that goes in your spinal fluid is frequencies. And those frequencies are coming from the water. And they're coming from, believe it or not, those frequencies are coming through your eyes, being fed by the sunlight. It's coming from your food, and it's coming from the drink you drink. But that is being translated into the fluid that creates the spinal fluid that goes to the brain and all your blood system. Because whether people believe this or not, your red blood cells are actually their main job is to carry light to all your cells. But guess what carries the light better than anything else? Structured water. And your body has to either structure the water, or you get something like this to structure the water, or something like this to structure your shower. So what we're talking about here, if you know about homeopathics, you know what? You can take a homeopathic that has the vibration of a certain ingredient to help to heal your body, or even a toxin to try to kick in your immune system, and it's not even in there. The material's not even in there. And this is a proven science. So what we're trying to prove to you, or what Clayton's trying to say, was proven a long time ago. It's just that it's just because everybody doesn't know it doesn't mean it's not right. Right, Clayton?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So when we're talking about water and the water intake, we're talking about the city water. And understand this, I think Clayton will back me up on this, that the sicker that the population gets, the more chemical they're going to put in, and the different chemicals they're going to put in. What do you think, Clayton?
Yes, absolutely. They have to offset, if you think about this, most cities ran out of groundwater. That's water that they could pull up out of the ground in the 1940s. So what they've done is they've drawn water from every river, every lake, every access to water that they can master to get water for the community. When they couldn't get enough that way, what they started doing is reclaiming gray water. So this is water that's passed through people. And the statistical average is water passes through or is processed 23 times by the city before it has an opportunity to evaporate and go back up in the atmosphere and return as rain. This is what's called the natural hydrological cycle. It is the way that nature provides you with a healthier water. In other words, rejuvenating the water and allowing it to come back as rain. Now, however, to that today is hanging above your head right now is maybe a ton of acid in the form of carbon. The water has to come down through that acid and ingratiate the earth. So here we go. The majority of lakes, rivers, lakes, and even the ocean is becoming inundated with acid. In other words, raising the pH to a point that the life in those rivers, lakes, streams, and ocean is starting to dwindle or die. Because when the pH gets too high, all life perishes because there's no oxygen. So if we don't get oxygen back in our water across the board, even for you in your home, in your environment, that high pH is eliminating the oxygen in the water.
How do we get the oxygen back in to the lakes,
structure
the rivers?
Structure it.
So the rain can't keep up with the polluting to structure
right.
Then. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Because our Creator built it this way that when it rains, it structures our rivers, structures our lakes, structures all the water. But because man has decided to create so much pollution, we don't have enough water structuring to keep up with it. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Well, then we're in a big dilemma then, Clayton, because we can't get our Creator to create more rain. And so, is there another way around it? How are we gonna fix this? Are we gonna fix this?
Well, there is a way by structuring the water. You can structure a lake or a pond or a river or a stream. We have testimonies, multiple testimonies of people adding structured water to their lake or pond or their river, and changing the energy of that river, lake, or pond. I mean, it's relatively simple. Uh, but it is a solution that requires people to engage with actually uh, bringing it bringing it uh, a a portion of structured water in order to maintain that health. I mean, we have testimonies of lakes and ponds that adding structured water to it brings the water to a place of being clear, where you can actually see the bottom, or you can see the fish.
Beautiful.
And it's simple. It's just simply adding a healthy water to the existing water,
And
and
that
that
healthy
healthy water
is structured water.
entrains all of the water to be just like it is, like it is.
Okay.
Now, there are some extenuating circumstances. Sunlight, for extended period of time, the sunlight, the ultraviolet of the sun, takes that back. So, if you live in the North Country like if you add structured water to a lake or a pond or a pool, uh, it will maintain that structuring for about 10 days, 7 to 10 days, where you are at least 10 days, because it all has to do with the angle of the sun, or let's say the intensity of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So where I am here in Arizona, that structuring in a lake, pond, or pool lasts for 4 days, up to 7 days, but generally in the summertime, 4 days. Again, the angle of the sun. And the sun takes back that healthy state of being. Now, the sun has a lot of attributes, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely essential for our health and well-being to have sunlight. Uh, but it, but we can't stand in it all day. The reason you don't stand in it all day is because it dehydrates you. It decreases the water at your cellular level at your skin, and you get burned. So, I mean, all these things everybody is very familiar with. But believe me, if you get a sunburn and you have a structured water unit, all you have to do is take a shower and the burn goes away. Because why? Because structured water hydrates your skin no matter what condition it's in. So if you get a burn, if you burn your finger, I've burned my finger accidentally several times. I just rinse it in structured water, or have a spray bottle and spray the structured water on my finger. And I do it 3, 4, or 5 times. Every time I feel it getting hot or uncomfortable, I spray it. And guess what? You don't get any blistering. Why? Because it's hydrating your skin. And when your skin and any burn or cut is hydrated, you don't get pain, you don't get swelling, and it just goes on and on from there.
Well, and if I can I say it this way, and then you can tell me if I'm off or I'm on?
Go ahead.
I know it's hydrating. That's kind of, on a physical term, right? But
Yes.
but I'd like to say this: we're energy, light, frequency beings, and because the energy and the light that the structuring actually holds and is created when you structure water, you create extra light and energy and frequency and a healing frequency in water. When water becomes structured, that's what it becomes. So when you actually put that on the body, yes, you're hydrating, but the thing is you're actually feeding yourself the food that heals, which is the light, energy, frequency, sound. How am I doing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great.
We have a caller.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, caller. Thank you. You are the first. Hi, caller.
Hi there.
Hi.
I was just wondering, if I take my portable unit to a hotel swimming pool, how long does it take to structure the water through the entire pool?
Pretty much instantaneously. If you get in the pool and you experience the water, the harshness of the hotel swimming water or the water, and then you take your portable and just dip it in the water, you will you the water changes instantaneously. So you can go from a point of of dropping down below the water and opening your eyes before you structure it, and it may cause your eyes to burn or to feel slightly irritated. If you structure the water, then you can drop down below that water and swim with your eyes open all day. You can virtually do it all week in that same pool of water.
How's that for amazing?
That sounds awesome. I also had one more question.
Right.
If I have an osmosis system, will it still be structured if I structure it through that?
Yes. If you have reverse osmosis and say you have a house unit which structures all the water in your home, your reverse osmosis is pulling water from that has been structured already. That water will be structured after it passes through a reverse osmosis. A lot of people feel that that's not so, but it's all about energy. All reverse osmosis does is removes the physical. It's removing the particles or the physical or the excesses in the water. But the water is still connected, and as it is still structured all the way through. So also, if you don't have a house unit, you can do it with an under the sink unit, or you can structure your reverse osmosis water after it comes out the other side and structure it with your portable.
And once you do this and you actually do structure the water, you're going to find that before, where you could take like maybe a glass of water and drink it, now you're going to be able to do a quart and it will sit lighter than the one glass. That is proof positive that you're dealing with a heavier water. And what you're dealing with is when you structure the water, you're reducing the surface tension, okay? And what you're doing is you're reducing the amount of molecules in the water droplet, and you're already preparing the meal for your mitochondria. So that is the deal. And understand, you're going to hear so much about mitochondria that it's going to baffle the mind. And you know what? We already said that your blood is 90% water. Your spinal fluid is 98, okay? 98.8. It's made out of water, and that is structured water. So the more that you can facilitate your body, okay, by structuring all the water you drink, because reverse osmosis water has got to be the worst water you could ever drink in your life, okay? You can drink all the water you want and you'll remain dehydrated. And that's really a sad point, because you have to understand something. Sunlight from nature, it heals, okay? And all you got to do is just go in the morning, AM, 20 minutes, and look at the sun, but just off a little bit. And what you're doing is it's helping to structure you, okay? And then when you structure your water, again, it heals. So everything that nature does, she does it right. If it's man-made, it's manipulated, okay? And there's usually a story behind it, and it usually doesn't work out well. It's not a great story. And that's because it's his story. It's not your story. Anything else, caller? Or did we lose? Okay.
One thing about the sun, if you're curious about what Darrell's talking about with the sun, I believe on the Discovery Channel, they had a video that you can download, or you can either download or get a copy of, but it's called Eating the Sun. So take a look at that. You know, it is the way of it's a way of becoming what is called a breatharian. So people do it, and there's many people around the planet that have aspired to that caliber of life that they no longer need to eat. They're eating the energy.
Absolutely, because the sun and water come before food. Did everybody get that? You may not believe this, but you think every time that you are lacking energy, that you need more food. Let me tell you something. You're eating way too much food. Have you taken a look at the size of people? Okay, so the size of people is because what they're trying to do is they're trying to create the energy through food, and that is the biggest mistake you'll ever make. And even if you're on a healthy diet, and you're on a whole plant-based diet, which I teach and which is the best to be on, that's great. But unless you're going to kick in the structured water and you're going to kick in the light, well, then you will never, ever experience, you'll never experience the health that you could have. Because before food, before supplementation, comes structured water. Did you hear what I said? Now, how much money am I going to make off of people by selling them structured water? They buy this one time, that's it. So they understand something, that the truth may hurt for people that don't have the right intentions. And the intention is that we all need to heal. All right? We are at a place in our lives, especially with our children, that we might not turn back if we don't start being honest with each other and giving each other what we truly need to heal. Clayton?
Absolutely. You're
Yes.
spot on.
Yeah.
You know, this is absolutely where we need to go. Everybody looks at technology as their savior. In a sense, technology is the opposite of your savior. So the solution today is you have to be part of the solution. I mean, if you don't take part in your own health and well-being, no technology is going to get you there. You know, structured water is a simple technology. As you grow with this, as you become a structured being, you can move through the world without concern, basically because as you are structured, your health coefficient is significantly higher. Your immune system is charged. And believe me, today, in a public environment, if your immune system isn't charged and up and enlivened, you'll more than likely end up with something that you wish you hadn't. But anyway, structured water brings that about. It brings that about in your whole physiology. And the other beautiful thing is, it brings your brain into regulation. When your brain is in regulation, your body cannot take on disease.
Absolutely. So we all have a choice, right, Clayton? We have a choice. We can either go with Mother Nature, or we can go with mankind, who's not kind at all. You need to understand something, everyone, that I know the technology is fun. Technology can really make things interesting. But please, buyer beware, because you have to understand, corporations, most of them, are denatured. The medical system is denatured. And the more that you denature yourself, the more pain and suffering you're going to have. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. So what we're trying to say here is that you have to look at everything that you're doing. Did you know that Clayton, that a teenager will actually look at their cell phone a minimum of 150 times a day? Now, when you do that, that's blue light. That blue light is actually goes into your eyes, but it actually goes into the fluid of the body, goes into the water of the body, and it actually destructures it. So how important is it for you to get your kids doing structured water, to get your family drinking structured water, and structure all the liquids through this? Because good luck trying to get your child to stop looking at his phone 150 times a day. You can do that until the cows come home. But what you can do is make sure that you build into them the power of structuring, the power of nature, the power of building their immune system through nature.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so if there's anybody out there that has questions, and you can call in now with your questions, and we can take it from there, okay? So remember something, that when you do structure, that also, Clayton, I had a question that we have had just come in from someone, and they wanted to know how many times they should structure their water to get the most energy out of their water. And could they structure it too many times and have any side effects?
Yes. Basically, one time brings the water to a healthy state. By multiply structuring the water, what you're doing is you're increasing the biophoton energy. Bio meaning life, photon being light. Biophoton. Now, biophoton is the same as chi. Chi energy. Just think about all the martial arts that ingratiate chi. You're by raising the energy of your body that your cells rely on, chi energy, that your cells communicate between one another in your brain, the chi energy. Now, chi is Chinese. Another term for it is prana. That's India. Ki is Japanese. Another term that a lot of people might relate to better may be scalar wave. These are all the same energy. Scalar, 0 point, tachyon. All those energy. Another one is orgon. A lot of people are into orgon. All these energy forms are the same. It's biophoton. The reason we use biophoton is because that's the way we measure it. We measure the biophoton energy.
What does biophoton mean, Clayton?
Bio is life.
Okay.
Photon is light. It's living light. The living light within the human element. So we can see that living light with the instrument, with a, I would say scientific instrument, but the instrument is made in Russia, and the United States does not recognize it. So the instrument that we use is called the GDV, gas discharge visualization. It's made in St. Petersburg, Russia. So it measures biophoton energy. Anyway, these are, this is, this is an avenue that we went to in order to prove our technology using the GDV. The GDV can see your whole physiology. The programming, multiple programs. The programming was written by 300 mathematicians at the University of St. Petersburg. And it's a magnificent piece of equipment. So with it, we can see your physiology, and we see it through your fingertips, through your meridians. The GDV looks at your physical body, your emotional body, your psychological body, your spiritual body. It looks at your 5 bodies above your physical. And it takes a bit of training in order to read it. But you can see it easily. It has a program which shows your chakras. And when you look at your chakras, looking through this, it shows whether your energy, or let's say your stress, is from your business, or whether it's from your family. You can see the difference. It's pretty magical.
Wow, pretty sensitive. Really
Pretty
sensitive machine.
Yeah.
So we have another question that was emailed into us, and Lydia wants to know if she gets the structured water unit. Her baby is 2 years old. The baby has dry skin, eczema. So does the father. What would it do to help to change their skin if they do that, if they were to shower in it and drink it?
Both. Shower, drink, bathe, spray, any form that you can get whenever you feel the dryness. I've had people with skin ailments, elderly people, 85 years old, say within one shower, their itch, their evening, where their skin starts to itch, it 80-90% of it goes away in one shower. So, I'll say this: it's not the same for everybody. For people who are open to the possibility that this can serve them and serve them well, they can get a pretty a quickened response from their physiology, from drinking, bathing in structured water.
Excellent.
The next level is people who doubt it, or let's say need to have it proven to them, and it takes a bit longer if you question and you doubt its efficacy. And the last form is those who absolutely cannot accept it. Even for those people, if they are in an environment of structured water, they will be served. This is a technology that you don't have to be in tune with it. You don't have to agree with it. It's going to change the environment. It's going to make the environment a much higher degree of health, a much higher degree of lessening the adversarial energies in a home, and primarily those adversarial energies are man-made. Everything man-made is either detrimental to your life. I would say everything man-made is detrimental to your life. And one of the biggest detriments to your life, man-made, is electricity. So everywhere that electricity is, you're facing an adversary that that everybody has accepted in their lives, but it's not necessarily a good thing for you. What we see with structured water is we see a significant advantage for people as working with electricity or working in even a home environment for children. Across the board, everybody becomes more, let's say, more tolerant of the adversarial conditions, and their body therefore is being enlivened and awakened and rejuvenated with structuring. So it brings you to a place of one of the biggest things you see in a group setting is structuring brings about an advancement of your consciousness. It awakens the consciousness within, and when you get an awakening of consciousness within in a group of people, what you end up is people being more community oriented, more awakened, more alive, and more able to navigate their environment with greater ease and joy.
Beautiful. We have a caller.
Go ahead.
Good day, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Amy, and I was just calling. This is my first time tuning in, and I was just curious
what is inside the structuring unit that actually structures the water? I just started doing my research.
Actually, inside the structuring unit is a material called HDPE. That stands for high density high density polyethylene. Got that?
Okay. And how does
and
that
that's
structure
food
the
grade.
water?
That's a food grade plastic.
Okay.
High density polyethylene. And so it's formed into what we call a flow form. The flow form is actually spheres, round balls.
Yep.
And they are molded into a solid configuration. They are molded together. And the reason we mold them together is that when you put water through a pipe and you have anything in that pipe, it will cause that thing to cavitate. And where you have cavitation.
What's cavitation?
Cavitation is meaning vibrate.
Okay.
Movement.
Okay.
And the vibration causes anything in the water stream to deteriorate. You understand where I'm going here?
Okay.
So if
yep.
there's something that's loose inside of your pipes, it won't be there very long because the cavitation will actually grind it up.
Okay.
So
does it use is it like electromagnetic or?
No. Structuring is not electromagnetic. Structuring is a physical flow form that water passes around. It doesn't pass through it, it passes around it. And water passing on the right side of a sphere causes the water to spin to the left. In other words, that spin is a vortex. Water passing on the left side of a sphere causes water to vortex to the right. So, vortex. Vortex is the means by which the water changes. The vortex reaches a speed significant enough to change the molecular structure of hydrogen. It changes the way hydrogen bonds to itself, and everything that exists contains hydrogen. Hydrogen is part of the formula of all things. So when you change hydrogen, and basically structuring changes I'm going to take this down, hydrogen bond angle. So structuring increases the hydrogen bond angle. Now, not all structuring is the same. Your body has the capability of structuring. For you to be alive, all the liquid within you must be structured. It has to be structured in order to enter into your cellular level. It has to reduce the viscosity of your blood. The viscosity of the liquid within you has to be reduced to a point that it can actually enter into your cellular level. And if you want a term here, the measurement is in dynes, D-Y-N-E-S. Mm-hmm. That is a measurement of viscosity. So think on this. Virtually all bottled water, surface water, processed water is 72 dynes. Most water in streams and rivers and lakes is 84 dynes. To enter into your cellular level, the dynes have to be 46 dynes or lower. So if you're drinking 72 dyne water, which again, virtually all water is,
Okay.
Your body has to take that into a place and hide and structure it. It has to structure the liquid you drink. And back about 30 years ago, there was a study done. The study was a 35-year-old man or woman to be hydrated every day. The amount of energy their body puts out. If you could convert to electricity, you would be able to light your house up for a month.
Wow.
That's how much energy it takes for your body to be hydrated.
For one day?
Yes, for one day.
One day, you could run your house electricity for a month for the amount of energy that you actually...
Yeah, and that's a 35-year-old man or woman.
Yeah, who's not sick and unwell.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's really cool.
So this structure unit brings it down to the 46 dynes
Right.
then?
Yes, right. It drops it down. It doesn't matter. You know, we just had a study done, was just done at a government University of Pakistan. Actually, that's a country, right? Pakistan, and it's a government facility. And what they did is they took a portable, and they actually did a drip test, where they actually let water drip through the portable, and the changes are complete. It changes the viscosity, it changes the energy. That's one drop at a time. In that short of a distance, using no electricity, no magnets, no chemicals.
One drop at a time. They put one drop at a time through the structure unit.
Right. Right.
And it structured it.
Right. So you can sit in a restaurant and take a teaspoon of water from your water glass and drop it through your portable. You hold your finger on the bottom, and you can just allow one drop to go in your coffee, your tea, your tequila. It doesn't matter. You can sprinkle it over your salad. And you have to remember, hydrogen virtually has no barriers. So when you sprinkle something or you spray something, so you can get a spray bottle and put structured water in it, and everything you spray is changed. You can take a bag of potato chips. You can take a bag of potato chips.
When making, for instance, a smoothie, if you were to just use structured water to make it, does it structure the whole smoothie?
Yes, absolutely.
So you don't need to actually pour it, because I was reading that you can pour anything through it. Would you have to pour the actual smoothie through it, or just using structured water in the smoothie structures everything?
Yes, you can use the water that's in your smoothie to structure, and or you can take a spray bottle and just spray the top of the smoothie. It'll all be structured. Or you can spray the side of the glass of the container or plastic, doesn't matter. Spray it with a structure, and it structures everything within.
Because everything is frequency. And you know what? Most people are not going to be able to grasp this. Hopefully they can. But the reality is that, until people realize what they really are and what they're not, then they will find it very difficult sometimes to wrap their mind around how magical and mystical life truly is. Go ahead, Clayton.
Absolutely. You're spot on. So you're doing research. I'm just trying to give you a clue here. And so is Darrell. We're trying to awaken you.
Wonderful.
We're trying to awaken
you
to
answered
the truth.
my question and more.
We're trying to awaken you and the rest of the audience and everybody who hears this program from now on, to bring them to a place of potential agreement that this is even possible.
Yeah, like we would have never thought that, my great-grandparents would have never thought that you could pick up a device that didn't have a wire on it and you could talk to somebody all the way around the world, and that's just frequency. But no, we can't believe that we could actually run it through some device and create a frequency and change the molecular structure of the human body. No, but we can now have to all collectively agree that when you get on a cell phone, you could call China and order anything you want and talk to that person. And you can do it instantaneously, whereas this is even faster than calling China. It's that instant because you know what? Because it travels at the speed of light, because that's what we are, is we're harnessing light energy when we use this. Okay? And you need to understand something else too, is that's why when you use structured water, it's like using, and I didn't say this, but I'm saying it. It's like you're using a digestive enzyme. You don't have to spend money on your digestive enzymes because now you've put it into the state of frequency that it's accepting to the body with love and care. And you don't have to go and use all this energy to get it into the frequency that is already vibrating at what the body needs at the cell level. So.
And let me add one thing about this frequency. What it does is, say you're taking a medication. If you look at that medication before anything else, that medication comes along with maybe upwards of 100 conditions, side effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So structuring, this is a simple term of structuring. Structuring energetically neutralizes all toxins. And it also energetically enhances all nutrients.
So what Clayton's saying is that you can actually take a drug that's toxic to you and you can offset all those symptoms, and still, if you need to numb yourself out because of the pain, it's going to do it, but it's not going to tear you apart.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to get myself one of these, that's for sure.
Well, just
Thank
know
you
that
so much.
When you do get one, you've got 90 days. If you're not in love with it, send it back. And anybody that does buy one from us right now, they get a $50 coupon to buy anything else that they want from us at the clinic. They can put it towards even a shower head or anything they decide they want to. Thank you, caller.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
We have another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. I have a question about cleaning the unit. I've tried multiple ways. I've ran it through the dishwasher. I put it in a bath of white vinegar and then also a bath of apple cider vinegar. What's the best way to clean the structure unit, the portable?
Yes. Have you tried baking powder and vinegar? Just hold your finger on the bottom, put a teaspoon or a tablespoon of baking powder into it, and add your vinegar. What you'll do is you get a volcano. You get a volcano.
So baking
volcanic
powder
action.
So baking powder first, and then add vinegar. Is it better to use white vinegar or apple cider vinegar?
Doesn't matter. At that stage, it doesn't matter. And if you're still, you can add water. You can add cleansing. You could use bleach if you want to. I'll tell you, there's places on the coast, the Mexican down below California, where they're growing shrimp, and they use structuring, and there's so much calcium in the water, and what we call aggregates, it starts to build up in the structuring, and so they use an acid that dissolves calcium. They use muriatic acid. So they just rinse it with muriatic acid. Muriatic acid, though, when you get muriatic acid in water, it's toxic severely. So it'll make your eyes burn. And So if you use it in an environment where you can get away from the fumes. But if you just run muriatic acid through it, it will eliminate everything that's inside of it.
Okay. And now, is it good to run it through the dishwasher every once in a while on the top shelf?
Right. Yeah, you can run it direct through your dishwasher. You can use high pressure. Next time you're traveling, take it into the swimming pool and put it up to a jet.
Okay. Can I put it on the bottom shelf of the dishwasher? Absolutely. Or is top better?
Wherever you can get a direct spray of heated water, close.
Okay.
Put it down close.
All right, fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller.
Bye.
So there you have it. So we know that it will stand up against the dishwasher.
Yes.
And you were saying that if you added the baking soda, that it will actually create a volcano effect.
Right.
Right.
You want to be over a sink when you do that.
Yeah.
Or container.
Right. Because, baking soda and vinegar.
Right.
Very good. All right. So I've got a couple people that have texted in questions here. The first one. This is from Jennifer. Does structured water have the same effects on animals and pets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Across the board. All living things. All living things are ingratiated with structured water. Except, now the however is, there are living plants, for instance, say like algae. Algae is alive, right?
Yeah.
You agree? So algae thrives where there's little or no oxygen. It's the same thing for most disease. Cancer thrives where there's no oxygen. Right?
Yes.
Darrell?
Yeah, absolutely.
So most bacteria, viruses, molds, and pathogens, they thrive where there's no oxygen.
So they don't function well when they're structured.
When you structure the water or you structure the liquid, you're releasing an enormous amount of free oxygen. And that kills all those organisms.
But if we take a look at, when we're talking about bacteria, if you're talking about good bacteria, understand it's not harming your good bacteria, everyone.
No,
it's supporting your good bacteria because they want to be oxygenated. Whereas the bacteria that have turned and gone rogue, they don't like oxygen. And if they can't handle, if they can't, what they say, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, they'll either die off or they'll convert back into good bacteria. So we want to make that perfectly clear, whether you're talking about viruses or you're talking about bacteria, or you're talking even about candida yeast. Candida yeast does not like, and candida fungus does not like at all structured water. But the fungus can actually convert back into candida yeast, which is the harmless type. So understand that it's got a brain, okay? It's not like an antibiotic that just goes in and obliterates. So structured water, it has intelligence. It is very intelligent. Eh, Clayton?
Yes.
Yes.
And the terms for you guys, for you investigators out there, the terms that we use when you're looking at things that thrive where there's oxygen or die where there's oxygen. The things that die where there's oxygen are anaerobic. Anaerobic. And the things that thrive where there's oxygen are called aerobic.
Yes.
Aerobic bacteria, aerobic virus, aerobic molds. And that's your stomach is aerobic. A septic tank is aerobic. It thrives. The bacteria thrives where there's significant oxygen.
Great. We have one more, and it's from Judy, and she says, "My mother has dementia. I've tried everything. Have you seen any effects when it comes to using structured water? Right now, we're using distilled water because I was told that it would help with the uptake of heavy metals.
Well, you know, distilled water was the solution back in the day because it was the only solution. But when you have structured water, it is an advancement in technology that science is struggling to accept. And it comes back to what I talked about at the beginning of this. The majority of science is the physical science. It's all they know. Chemistry is a physical science. And they're not willing to re-educate about energy science, physics, quantum physics. It's way over their head. And so here you go, you know, you talk about dementia. If you get a person with any condition and give them structured water, their whole condition is changed. And it can change dramatically in a very short period of time, especially if there's nobody there telling them that it won't work.
Because where the mind goes, the body follows.
Exactly.
You know, Clayton, here's one where we're told that ultraviolet A is dangerous for the eyes, and optometrists will tell you that you have to stay away from it. And then we find out that, and this is true science, that we can't live without it, and that the body takes in, I think it's 3%, I can't remember, it's 3% or 12%, and it actually needs it to actually help to actually create the hormones, the chemicals, and all the processes that go on in the body. Your eyes, everybody, are meant for more than seeing. And, you know, it's like water is meant for more than hydrating. You know, we have no idea. And if you're looking for the science of today that's in the school or in the healthcare today, like in the medical system, or even in natural healthcare, even natural healthcare doesn't get it right. Okay, the majority of practitioners don't get it right. Okay, they don't have it right. And the thing is, unless you're willing to embrace that which you cannot see, and unless you're willing to embrace that we are light energy beings, and that you're not drinking water to hydrate. Yes, you are. But what you're doing is you're drinking water because water actually traps the light, turns it into sound, okay? And then because water has magnetism, it holds on to these frequencies, and it goes down right to the mitochondria and feeds these frequencies to the mitochondria that create the ATP. Whether you want to believe this or not, okay? Here's one for you. Did you know that ATP, which creates the energy for your body, it can only be, the maximum you're going to get from your supplementation and from your food is 25%. The other part of that comes from water and comes from the light that actually comes into the eyes. That's where the other ATP comes from, is from light and water. So you really need to grasp onto this and wrap your head around it. And I'd love anyone who wants to challenge me on this, because we do have the science to back this. We have a caller? All right, this will be our last caller, and then we will be turning the tap off. Okay? All right, so caller, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Well, I bought the portable
Yep.
structured water unit, and my city water still comes, the taste still comes through on it.
Yes. Now, this is something that, you know, something that you have to get past, because it's your inherent right to manifest everything that you seek. And so when you're pouring a glass of water, you're in a sense manifesting the smell of chlorine. because you're looking for it, right? So let me tell you this. The one thing that you can do is when you pour a glass of water, okay, and it's structured, chlorine in the water takes it a while for it to off gas. And what it does is it's this way. When you structure water, chlorine turns to a gas. It takes it a while to rise to the surface. Because that gas is lighter than water. So it rises to the surface. So when you go to drink a glass of water, you're smelling chlorine because the chlorine is sitting on the top of the water that you just poured. So for a while, try this. Try blow on the top of your water glass. That will blow the chlorine off, and it'll drop to the floor.
Does the chlorine have any harm to her, even if she were to inhale it? Like, she is smelling it. So,
it's insignificant amount of chlorine. You'd have to be sniffing hard chlorine in order to have an adverse reaction from it. So.
Go ahead, Colin.
Okay.
So
on
the other side of it is let me finish one more thing.
Osmosis.
That condition of chlorine and tastes and smells is energy. So in order to overcome it, may take more energy. And so if you do you have you're doing it with a portable, right?
Yeah.
So try this. Pour a glass of water, or let's say pour a pitcher of water, and then you can pour it through the portable, if you wish. But multiply structure some water and add it to that pitcher, and then drink your water from that pitcher. Basically, multiply structuring the water increases the biophoton energy in the water, the bioenergy, and which is negative ions, by the way, more oxygen, negative ions, and it increases the energy of the water. So what you do is you multiply structure the water, and what I would recommend the first time you do this is maybe hold your finger under the small end of the portable, fill it about half or 3/4 of the way full, and you can place the palm of your hand over the top, and just shake it up and down for the count of maybe 10. Every time up and every time down is equivalent to a pass through the portal. And then add that water to your pitcher. And then drink that water. The reason I'm only giving you that is because if you, and this was a question early on that I didn't finish answering, is the question, can it be too much? And the answer is yes. If you over-structure the water, you will create a Herkimer effect in your body. Basically, it will cause you to detox severely if you're toxic. So you want to gradually increase the amount of structuring you add to your water. You hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
You were saying something about, do you have reverse osmosis, caller?
Yeah, I do. And what I was doing because of the taste, I was structuring my reverse osmosis water just because of I can't stand the city taste.
Okay. So again, you can multiply structure it and that taste again is the adversity of energy, so the energy of whether it be chlorine or it could be other conditions of the water. It could be excess magnesium in the water. It could be all kinds of excesses in the water. Again, the city, all they look at is the chemistry of the water. They're not looking at the energy of the chemistry. So when you start combining energies of chemistry, or energies of the physical. It can cause all kinds of weird tastes and flavors and smells. And so structuring can eliminate it all. It just takes more energy. Now, if you're running a business or you're doing something that you really want the water to be clear, the answer is multiply structuring multiple units in series. More than one house unit in series. More than one commercial unit in series. And or for you individually, multiply structure the water and add it to a container, a pitcher, or for another way is to carbonate it. In other words, use a carbon filter. The majority of the population is in tune with carbon filter. But you got to remember, carbon is acidic. Anyway, I mean, life is all about balance. If we can't maintain balance, we lose. That's simple.
Thank you, caller.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Well, Clayton, we're nearing the end of this episode. And is there anything that you would like to leave our callers with? And we will be back, everybody. Just know this. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And you want to get your questions together. And you can call us and collect them over the next 2 weeks. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Clayton?
Yes. I just want to remind people, that, there's a whole lot of potential of ways of using structured water out there. I'd like to know how you use it, how you have discovered the differences that it brings into your life. Whether it's your health, your well-being, or your plants, your animals. I had a lady just recently, she sent me a testimony, and everything changed. I mean, she put structured water on her yard, and this was a yard in California where water restrictions, and she said the savings from structuring far outweigh the restrictions that she has, that she's on in California. And not only that, she has fruit trees, and she says every fruit tree bears sweet, huge fruit, whether it be lemons or oranges or apples. And she says a lot of trees that were dying are now filled out and expanded and awakened and full of vegetation. So this goes on and on and on. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to hear from you all out there as to what it's doing for you. And I want you to realize this. If you come on to Darrell's call, Clayton's classroom, and give us your testimony, basically what it does is it aids everybody else on the call to do the same thing and more. So let's take this technology to what it's truly meant to accomplish for humanity. Aiding humanity to survive with grace, ease, and joy. Now.
Thank you, Clayton. That was beautiful. The bottom line, everyone, is life creates life. We're bringing life back to the water. We're bringing water back to its natural state. Think about that. We're bringing life back to its natural state. Your natural state is to be vibrantly healthy for your whole life. I'll tell you what your natural state is and what it isn't. Your natural state is not being like the majority of the population, walking around with a limp, having excess weight, being on drugs, whether they're street or pharmaceutical, okay? Needing to drink, let's say, any type of stimulant to stimulate yourself, to create energy just to pay the next day, all right? We're talking about harnessing nature, going back to our natural state, and our natural state is called vibrant. It's called vibrant health, right down to the cell level. And that's what all these shows are about that we do. That's why I have Clayton Nolte on the line. Look, I have the choice to sell very expensive machines that we could just bombard you with the technology and the science and go, wow, we can do this, all the lights, bells, and whistles. But the reality is, you know, we all have our goal in life and we are all on our journey. I have a journey of truth right now. And you know what? I don't mind you challenging me on my truth. But I will tell you that whatever I do, I will make it truthful. And if it means that I'm going to sell a unit like this, where my profits are a lot lower, but it's going to give somebody the freedom to create life for less than pennies a day, instead of going with a filtration unit that's thousands of dollars, has all the bells and whistles that will actually accomplish less than what this will accomplish, because nobody can do it better than nature. And that is the way it's going to be. So as soon as you plug back into nature, then you'll plug back into life. So on that note, I'd like to give people and tell people this, that I will be doing Braveheart Nation live Q&A tomorrow, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, August the 28th. It will be on YouTube just as this show is. It'll be on Facebook just as this show is. And you can go to docofdetoxshow.com. I'm going to be doing 6 different shows. And all of these shows are going to come together to create the package. The package that will change your life forever. And that's what we're here to do, is to give you the most powerful, simplistic, cost-effective, take action strategies to bring it home, bring health home, bring love home. So tomorrow, Braveheart will be on. And for those of you that are calling overseas, we have overseas numbers almost for every country that are 1-800. I have some people calling in tomorrow that will be calling on my WhatsApp number, which is 250-801-0133, because they're calling from India. So they actually called us today and said they'd be calling. Understand, we're opening up to the world. We're opening up to you so that you open up and really experience what you truly are. Once you realize what you're not, and when you realize what you truly are, that's when changes happen. And finally, we also have Hope for Cancer Q&A with Dr. Tony Jimenez on Thursday, August the 30th at 3 p.m. And it's called Creating the Perfect Day to Prevent and Heal Cancer. We'd love to see you here. And if you'd like to try my daily cleansing tea, you can get a half a month free. You only pay the shipping. We'll send it out to you. The instructions are in it. The next thing is, you can also get my book, Healthy to 100 free. You only pay the shipping. We're out to make you the Braveheart hero of your family. You only need one. I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to thank my beloved host, Clayton Nolte. Thank you, Clayton, for joining us today.
Thank you, Darrell.
And thank you for joining us today. And just know that our lines are always open. Whether it's the show or you want to call our office, we're here to help you. We are passionately on a mission. God bless and thank you.
Good.